Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is February the 3rd, 2025, Monday. And what we're looking at today is going to be dollar index, the futures markets, and the indices. Currently, what we're looking at here is going to be ES, 15-minute, 5-minute ES, and then a 15 and kind of alternating window of NQ here. CFD positions on swing trades. I do already have a trade locked in though here with the risk here. So if it goes lower, I'll attempt again. And if I see some signs at the New York Open here in about a minute that show me that we could at least get above this current HOD and push up to that previous day lows support area, 21.4, then I'll probably attempt that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Make sure you guys have SP, have QQQ and SPY pulled up and trade safe. Okay, so out the gate here, it looks pretty bearish, and obviously we have that gap down on QQQ and SPY, so we could see some more weakness, but you got to remember that that's been overnight, all right? That they've already done all that, so. So I'm really just watching how they're playing this like demand candle area here. Obviously, you guys can see ES is starting to find some strength there. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna buy it yet. But this does look like it potentially could work out. We'll see here. Wouldn't if I was getting in, I wouldn't be putting my risk past the 21,175s futures. All right, because that's a pretty good risk right in that area. Would actually be putting you almost too much, so you gotta be careful there. Right, but like I do have that CFD lock, so as soon as it breaks above here, it's gonna pay me a little bit, and then I'll be able to manage the rest of the position. So if you guys like that, like I said on futures, I'd have my risk here, 175s, and looking for that first breakout to start protecting yourself. You are seeing ES strength, right? So that's a good sign right now. 8:32 a.m. here. Okay, so as soon as we cross above this high right here, guys, I'm gonna cover my futures position, and depends on how many, if we can get above that, right? We already got above one high, right? We got above this high. So you probably got to think about this and protect yourself in a sense as well. All right. So let's look at a 5 minute here. Now, what we want to see is how this candle closes and can it break out of the objective? Because if it can't, right, then that's where the liquidity is. And if it can't, it's going to fall fairly quickly. All right. So I like how ES is already at that supply level, right? Reaching for those levels, right, to go higher. So that's a good sign for the overall markets to continue, right? Now let's see. You want to see right where this, like where I'm looking for this body to close would be above this. Oops. Okay. See how they're starting to fail it? It needs to close above that on the 5 minute here. If it doesn't close above that and starts to turn into a wick, that means they're mitigating and can go lower. All right. So you want to see the signs of ES on that 5 minute push above market open as well and close above this candle here. All right. So on 5 minute, you want to see it close above here. And on 15, you want to see it eventually close above here. So really, what that 5 minute closes below New York Open, they're going to get weak. You want to, like I said, you want to see these all close relatively strong here on this five. These are going to work out. Come on, load. This other thing isn't loading over here, guys. Sorry. Okay, so watching that ES price really just as tight, to be honest, because I want to see that closure right here above. If it's going to be bullish, if not, they're going to fail. All right. So 5 minute close, good close, right? That's a good close, technicals wise. All right, line graph wise. So now you could continue to potentially see strength if you see it fairly quickly. Now you got to remember everybody makes their decisions at the tops or bottoms. So, if you took a move like this, you just have to be locked in usually with your risk. Or if you have a move, you can partial or cut the risk down sometimes. But I'm just being patient here and just waiting this thing out, seeing if we can get above the high, and that way I can pay myself some more on that CFD. Now for those YM trades, I will show what I'm kind of looking at too, just the overall market, but they usually do the opposite, right? So this is what I'm looking at from an hour perspective, right? Comparative strength analysis, NQ on the far left here, going back to that previous day low. Same thing with ES, and potentially getting to the gap on YM. That's kind of like my mindset. But the two that look the best to me are the ones that we're playing right now that we have in play. If they can break the high, just said they're having so hard time with that supply, difficult. So I'd love to see one of them just break through if they're going to do it. All right, so be patient, just wait it out, see if it pushes. And if so, like I said, on futures, I'm looking for like 21.4, 21.450s today. I mean, even 350s would be amazing, but see if we can get this push on through. Um, oh no. Okay, I was gonna say it. Make sure that's loading over there. So we can get that push on through. Ugh, I don't like how ES looks, guys. I will say that that push down is very dangerous at the market open. So you'd want to see the 5 minute closing higher. You see what I'm saying? And if they're not going to do it, you just got to be patient because they've broken out. They broke structure like right here, shift and price delivery, and so they could pull back. You could anticipate that. But now it's about understanding: are they going to fail the supply, or is this the push on through, which is kind of a difficult area. But I feel really not really good. I feel pretty good about this still, and my confidence is still there with how it looks. So we can just, like I said, push on through. I'd be a lot more excited. What's the highest one that I have? Let's do this here. Start taking. Looks pretty good right there. So just still watching that price. And like I said, we're just looking for a slip. So I'm gonna flip to the 15 here just really quick. I have other windows up still. But this is what I want to see. So there's that break, guys. There's that break right there. So if you're in that futures position, I just cut my position down by one con. So it looks like this. So one con just cut down when it hit that top, and now I'm gonna manage the risk to my break even. All right. And so our CFD positions, if you have those pre-market, we're playing those up to 21,400s or possibly the 2025 open. And that's kind of what we're looking for as of right now. So let me go ahead and manage and do a couple things here just to make sure I'm on point here today. And it looks good, right? It looks good on this ES. We got the HODs about to blast. So really, really good trade, guys. Really good trade on the board here. And those swing trades look really nice, HODs. And for me, I don't cut my swing trades if they're big profits. I just trail the risk. Okay. And that's what I'm doing here. So we got new highs on ES. Drop a one in the chat if you guys were able to find a buy on that anywhere. Okay. So I trailed my risk up to the 21,275s on the remainder, guys, just so you guys can kind of see this. And so if it hits me out, that's my day on futures right there. Right? That's my day on futures right there. So cool. And then I need to partial out some of my CFD. Well, excuse me, my CFD already partialed itself. Hit that one, so I can just stay break even on the rest. Let's see if we get a little something here. So go back to here. Let's look at this. And we need to be focused on, to me, I want to see the five. I want to see the 15-minute close, but I also want to see the five push out of the area. Okay. 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 All right. So that was it. I mean, that might be it right there, guys. I've trailed my risk up on my remaining positions on CFD. Um, so we'll see. So as soon as you get those captures of liquidity right on the technicals, you got to be ready to act, all right, on your position. And so for me, I already know in futures I don't need much, but that was a 100 handle move, so a little less, right? About a 90, 80 handle move right there to the upside. So can't complain with that one right there. 21.90. See here real quick. Okay, y'all. So you guys see kind of what we're seeing here. We're doing pretty good on SPY as well, and like QQQ, with having to fill that spot. So what I'm gonna look at, oh shit, what I'm gonna look at is my swing position, okay? Because my main thing here now is to manage this correctly, right? To manage this position back up into possibly 21,450s, where that previous, where we closed the market last week. But more importantly, is to understand that if we don't get this 15-minute close um, in the next 2 minutes, then we don't have that sign of strength technicals for the body closures, right? So me personally, I would love to see, that candle close a little bit higher than here, and then us reach for that previous support area, 21.4. So this is kind of like, let me make this a whole level. And what else would this be? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the whole level. So like that 21.5 is really my target area. And then when you look at the 4 hour and the range of like where we're at from low to high, I could see them getting back up maybe to here. There's so much manipulation out here, guys. That's why I like with futures, as you guys could see, like I'm not sitting in there forever. All right. I just want to stack, base hits. So, uh, we'll let the recording continue to go until like 9, just to kind of see how this price plays out, and then I'll end the recording side, and then we can open it up to kind of just chop it up here for a little bit if y'all want to. But we got about 15 more minutes. This is a really important time. I like to take my trades, and I like to take my trades. I like to trail my risk and do executions in the first 15 minutes of an hour and the last 15 minutes of an hour. Okay. So for any of you guys that just hopped on, like I said, we've already taken our future position, and it's kind of crazy to think we've already banged out a band on there. A little bit more because I closed a little bit. I closed two. So let's see if we're gonna continue to get this. Now, something I like to look at is I don't really like to focus on the 1 minute unless it pushes me there. So like today, for example, we can do. I guess we can do this here. Let's see this. I like to look at all the time frames, right? So it's like I like to really watch my 1 hour. I like to watch my 15, right? Because we did just close the 8:45 candle showing signs of strength, and the 5 minute candle closed signs of strength. But this also could be, right, our mantras, right? A 15-minute wick, 5 minute fast up candle, and then 1 minute mitigations to the downside because people are selling off that position. So you just got to be realistic with yourself. Any of the positions that I have here, like I said, that I've already partialed when we partialed that futures position, everything else is pretty much sitting at break even. So if it comes back into like right in this area here, that would be essentially like my risk that I have left is right here. But I think we may have found a pretty good spot there. We'll see. Let me make sure I have the risk in the right spot here. So that 5 minute candle there. Now that's kind of like a thing we've learned together today, guys, is like that willingness. That's why I take profit at that first HOD in those futures, because if it doesn't have the willingness to continue to rally up, people are gonna start pressing the sell button, right? They're gonna start taking partials, right, or pulling those buy positions from overnight, and that makes the market sell off. What time was that candle from, dude? So it's a 15-minute candle, 6:30. So cool. It makes sense too if they do after they do that, come back down, right? And come back below market open and you find a better area. But we'll see. 5 minutes right here. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna watch these here really quick. All right, I like how they're capitulating below the opening price, right? And everyone can see they're selling at this area, right? So to me, it's more of like an absorption play. All right, so I'm gonna go back to here and be able to watch that one. And we'll do this now and kind of get really in depth here. Uh, okay. Now I can really start to see the absorption inside the candles that I want, and maybe I can find add-ons, right? Now, risk placement wouldn't be anywhere past this candle right here, this 5 minute candle right here. If you're buying this again, I wouldn't put my risk past this candle right here. Whatever candle it is for you, 8:30 to 8:35, you got to understand that New York Open, I don't have it marked on here on CFD, but you got to understand that open is very important. Okay. So what would that low be right here? Sorry. 21,063 is on this broker. Now, like I said, I still have my position with the risk at that area, so that's why I'm watching it pretty tight. So we'll see what they do. But they look pretty bearish across the board. They're having a hard time trying to go higher. So I marked the CFD one here. Okay, so they're talking about on TopStep, 100-point sell off really fast, and that's what, and it capitulated back down to opening price, right? So to me, it's like that potentially could be an absorption play. All right. So as we watch this over here, ES, NQ, we've already shown signs of strength, and now we're starting to test away from the area. So it's like, well, let's see what they end up doing here on the 5-minute closes. Now, if you're going to see some strength on these fives, you're going to see most likely, right? ES start to hold this area. But if not, then they'll just trickle over. And that'll be it for me today. Because, like I said, I'm only managing the CFD left. Pretty nice fast move up, though. Mm-hmm. What time is it? Oh, okay, cool, 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 cool. Check SPY, QQQ. Okay, they're still in that push down. So yeah, I think people do the opposite here, and like Top Step, they want to sell into these type of demand levels. Um, so you know, I like to watch rich retail. Really watching ES too, because if you see that turn, that flip of that 5 minute start to turn white, and then you get the 15-minute wick, right? I have my 1 hours over here on my left. So what I'm really looking for is for like the 1 hour to basically break out of the 1 hour demand from, excuse me, here on NQ, and then this 1 hour demand here on ES. If they can break out of those and start to carry up, those would be really good trades. But we got quite a room to go still. Mm-mm. So, like I said, this is just for the swing positions because I'm done on futures today already, which is can't go wrong with that. Now, this is what I'm looking at though. If you guys are looking at those swings, is we still have those with our risk at this low, and then possibly, if you wanted to, you could have added in right there at the 21,100, and that would have put my risk essentially in that same low. And then what I'm going to do is when price rallies, I'll give back half of that move to some noob that's buying at the highs. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, potentially what I could be looking at if this does play out is 15-minute absorption, right? You guys see that kind of area. So if it starts to wick on the 15 and 5 minutes starts to gain strength and 1 minute starts to carry bullish, that would show me that we might attack the wick. But if we can't close stronger on this 5 minute above 21.1, then this area would probably fail and then we'd buy from lower of the day. But like I said, I'm just gonna kind of let it do what it does at this point. Because if it stops me on the remainder, I've already partialed on that push up. So I don't need to take another trade to figure out. Starting to really push there, just like the other day. Mm-hmm. So we do have that news, I believe, at 9 is what time it is. Let's see what time that news is really quick. Yeah. So yeah, the news coming out, just understand that they could push this back lower. Understand where your low of day is, which I don't think I marked it on here. Sorry. Just knowing where that low of day is in general, because people, right? People are gonna noobs buy tops and sell bottoms, right? So when they get close to these special spots or the spots of H, like the HOD, for example, people started buying because they thought it was gonna push up, they got clapped. Same thing will happen at the lows of days, right? People will decide to form their opinion at that time when they can see it the best, and then the market flips them. 5 minute candle here, getting ready to close in 20 some seconds. So this is like that real factor area to me. But I think we've done what we need to do, guys. That's why I said protect or pay yourself at HOD sweeps, or trail risk to a top end of an imbalance. So, like for example, if you had this trade here, price rallied in your favor, it was all the way up here, you could have trailed that risk up, to this area here, which I'll show here in a second. I'm gonna be watching here really quick. Okay, so let's go back to here and just kind of make sure I want to watch all of them here. And it's right here for you now. I'm just kind of watching how they play the price in this area here. So the very lowest position we have is still pretty good. If you guys took, it just depends on how kind of volume you took on it. But like I said, it was a $6 move, cut down some of it here, and then added some more. And then when you go, like I'm looking at ES over here to my left, that 15 and 5 is absorption, guys. They're literally doing the same thing they do all the time. They get close to a low, right? And then they wick it, right? So that's why you want to be watching the 15 and 5. So even though they're showing that they wanted to go lower, that's when people give up and they've lost a trade already, that's when they come in and do the wrong thing right here, and then it flips on them every time, right? Because of the opening price theory and the wickets, right? This is why I say you can't get stuck on the 1 minute time frame because you're gonna get lost in the sauce. Okay, so I'm gonna bring that back over here so I can see this, and then we can focus on the price action here. Okay, let's look at these ones again. Sorry. So what I'm looking for, like I said, is if ES can continue to absorb, like I'm watching this candle in this area, but I'm also watching the very little small down candle that's down here, right? Because on the small time frames, what that actually means. So if you start to absorb away from this, right? So you have a 5 minute down candle here. And so if you start to absorb away from that box, right, and close away from that box, and then the 5 minute starts to close close or above NYO, where's all the money, guys? You gotta ask yourself, where's the new HOD? Because we slipped that high, right? Same thing with NQ, right? If you're taking swing positions, right? To me, it's like the shorts are still in. Either that or it'll just fall out, you know? That's not looking too good on ES, I'd say, because you've got 15-minute supply and you've got the wickage away, but you're still, it's kind of like a lot you got to think about. But you're also having your mind set here on a 5 minute game board and kind of seeing the reaction you're getting there, right? Because if it starts to crush, like you just seen, right, then that's what they're doing. They're searching for that internal liquidity from the LOD to the HOD, and then you may have to wait for a lower position on those. Let's see these. On these, right? Like I said, the lows that we had originally on the swing positions was that 15-minute, 5 minute low. So we'll see how they flash that or what they do. Let me see what it looks like over here. Now it shows that it went lower than the internal, but it didn't go lower than the 15 one. But I think they'll fall because of the take profit that we had, but I'm not for sure. So like I said, I'll wait here until about 9:10 to kind of see what we get, 9:15 for the swing trades, but and then we can all chop it up about the futures. Check this here really quick. And you want to see people making a decision when it takes liquidity. You want to see them pressing sell right there, right? So that we could be getting in these type of buys. Because if they're pressing sell and the market's already going down, it's less likely to go. I'm not saying it won't. It's just once it captures the liquidity, you don't want to be right there trying to sell as it's capturing people's liquidity like that. So we can get this rally back above the highs from my CFD position. I'm going to cut a little bit more volume and then go risk off and just kind of let this one sit for the week if it allows to continue to go. But still not seeing any prices above New York isn't a good sign, um, especially when you're just looking at it like from this perspective here. This 15-minute area, I mean, if it breaks this area here, then like I said, most likely it can go a lot lower. So I can kind of show you guys what my mind is kind of focused on. Because if we break that area, like I said, my original trades from pre-market on swing trades would the risk is here, so they would come for that. That'd be it. So they slipped lower on my broker back into my position, so I'm good for today when we have everything from futures already locked, and they could sell this off even more just because they know a lot of people want the long positions to fill the gaps. So if I was saying, a play that I would look for, which I may look for a CFD position, but futures I'm good. Um, I would look on ES like down here below the open, right? Inside the low of day to like the 71, 76 retracement of the day. And then a similar thing here potentially. It's just, until they get down into those areas, there's really not much that we can see. So let me update that really quick. Cool. Okay. So like I said, I'll watch this till that 9:15 time, and then I'll open it up where we can chop it up. And then you have QQQ and SPY not showing any strength right now, which is um, probably causing some of this as well. Mhm. And you guys see why too. When we take those positions, you've got to partial at structure breaks. You've got to be able to trail your risk, partial. You have to do something. hmm It makes you available to continue taking trades. hmm So before I'm looking at this, I'm really looking at that higher time frame, looking for a 15-minute wickage, a 5-minute dump candle that actually looks like worthy enough to frame something. And then you can, start to look for that MIDI. It could be in there. You know what I mean? They've taken as long as they've taken liquidity, you can find one a lot of the times. Okay. So start to see the 15-minute wickage. You do have a 5-minute dump. Now you need to see a candle. I'd say a 5-minute candle close on this side. Now, if you're aggressive, you're playing it here, right? On the 1-minute demand, putting your stop at low. But for me, I like to personally wait for a 5-minute close on the side of the V and then to play that side. So 5 minutes still has 2 minutes left. So that's so much time. You see what I'm saying? I'm not seeing any 5 minute strength on now. I've got a little lower to go. Like I said, if you're aggressive, you're framing it off this 1 minute candle. It's just that's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that that matters or not. It's just saying that it's just more dangerous at this point. But being aggressive or conservative, I would say this for sure was a nice little liquidity grab right here. Right here. But that doesn't mean, like I said, when you look at the range of the day from the low to high, that we've really pushed anywhere. Da-da-da, this H4 is open. It's going to anticipate something moving in direction between this time. Probably absorption. I mean, if you look at the 1 hours comparison, is really what I like to look at here on the left of me, is understanding that they're kind of playing around under the daily opens, right? Like ES is below daily. This is way below. And we're kind of at the area on NQ. So it's just trying to see, are they trying to absorb right here to then go higher, right? Because that's what I'm starting to see. If I was to play, um, another position, I would be framing it off this candle here. All right, so it can't really do it. Let me do it like this. Sorry. I would be framing my move, like I would be getting in conservative off that open or off that 50%, and my risk would go with that low. Now, when price breaks the technical, like if it goes back above, NYO, excuse me, or it goes back above here, right? Most likely you're probably in a profit. You know what I mean? By that point, so you can either cover your position, and if you have enough volume and size on the position, you can actually cut some of that volume and size at the point of interest, right? But just understanding double bottoms, double tops, right? I believe that was a liquidity grab inside that 1 hour. So let's see if they start to pump her now in this area. And this is why I say if you're not trading your futures account, instead of taking demo trades with no emotion, take 1 dots, dude. Take 2 dots or whatever you're comfortable with your account. But you're gonna make money every day if you start to work the executions and focus on the habits instead of trying to pass the challenge or trying to pass a challenge. Check yes here. So let's look at this. So they did a similar thing there, right? They've touched the point of interest, but they've done a 5 minute engulfing candle. So if you don't see strength from this area here, I wouldn't attempt it again, right? Because that liquidity grab, engulfing, this, if it stacks, great. If it doesn't, then I would say, I don't know, you might get the rejection. So lower low, lower high, lower low. It's failing to get above that level again, and that would be it pretty much. So same thing like I said here. If you took a position, when you rally up to POI, you've got to start thinking either you're going to leave your risk at the low or you're going to start pulling it in. Or if you've got like X amount of volume, let's just say hypothetically $6 a move on CFD, you could cut it down to $3 a move. So you reduce your risk. Yeah, so let's see if they're going to push down that 5 here. We got that LOD. Cool. Well, yeah, that's probably the end of the recording for me because I didn't take another position here for CFD. I'd already taken that pre-New York and partialed, but I just wanted to see if this area would end up working out. Now, if I was going to be sitting here later today, like I said, I would look a little bit lower, because I do think these are still going to be absorption plays off of this area. But for the recording side, for what we wanted to put out for the into the futures and that's going to be it. So let me go ahead and end the recording side, and then if we have any questions, we can all chop it up.